Hey guys, how you doing? Well, I'm wrapping up my overnighter out here. It's going to be almost sad. I'm kind of enjoying it out here. Go back home, but nice to go back home too. But it's only been overnight, but still, you get out here and it's so peaceful and quiet. Sure, in a distance you can hear, civilization. There's a highway not too far from here, a couple miles, but you can hear the echoes and stuff. And anyway, I was having a few thoughts about solo camping and a few forgots too, so I guess you want to call it a solo camping, a few thoughts and a few forgots. Kind of what I was thinking of when I first got out here. Got off late from work, one of them days that anything and everything that could slow me down did. And so I was running to get out here, and of course I wasn't prepared quite as well as I thought I was, just to leave the house. So I was rushing around to get things together. And anyway, got out here, and first thing I got out here and started walking, and I realized right off the bat I didn't plan this out very well. First thing I should have done was come out here with a day pack and just go for a walk. Just a easy hike. First thing I got into was some pretty good sized hills, and I'm carrying a pretty good sized pack that I was wanting to test out, and I loaded it kind of heavy. It didn't take me 200 yards to realize that probably wasn't a good idea. And it was a couple miles back here, and it's all up and down. But yeah, we do have hills, regardless of what people say in Kansas. But and I have to go back that same direction. But anyway, that's one of my thoughts. If you're going to go out someplace for a solo overnighter or a weekend, especially even if you're not new at it, it's probably a good idea to research it pretty good. I mean, you can actually go visit that site once before you commit to having to carry a pack some distance. And I had my wife drop me off, so there was no turning around and going back to the car. I didn't want that. When I went out, I knew I was going to be out. But as I said, I should have came out here with just a pack, day pack, and some water and stuff to check out the area. I would have packed a whole lot differently. Anyway, and then as I got up to the camp, it was pretty wild. It's the area I'm at is actually an old part of Lake Perry's campgrounds that's no longer used. It's pretty hilly, pretty overgrown, very secluded, and well, I got up here and it was pushing dark, and I was struggling to find a good area that I could set up in that, like I said, since it was quite overgrown. And so I located a place, and I was getting my hammock and my tarp set up. And at that point I realized, hey, I still got to get a fire together, and I've got to eat. Well, struggling around in the dark, even with a lamp or headlight, I'm trying to say, or a flashlight, it's still a struggle to try and gather enough wood to get you going, quick enough before it gets too late. But like I said, I got my hammock up, and then it was pretty dark by the time I started gathering wood, and which meant it was even later when I started getting the fire together. And the next day I actually realized there was a lot of wood not far from me. If I'd gotten out here earlier, if I'd prepared myself and planned to get out here earlier, or even, like I said, visited, I would have found there. Yeah, it was drop timber. You know, not like it was cut firewood. I would have still had to cut it and everything, but it was a lot closer than the distance I walked and drug wood back to get my fire going. But anyway, once I got all that set up, and I got my hammock set up, and I got my lean-to set up, I got my fire going, and I got some top ramen noodles going. I was going to have a steak, but where everything else was going, the steak waited until morning the next day. I got that on another video. But once I got time to sit down and calm down a little bit, I called my buddy Terry, the Outdoorsman's Paradise. He's the guy I usually go out camping with. He's the one that kind of got me into bushcrafting. And first thing I said is, solo camping sucks. He said, yeah, I know. And I said, you know, I was thinking, well, you know, here it is, because you're out here by yourself. You're trying to get stuff done. There's no one to converse with. But after I got things going a little bit and things calmed down a little bit, it was kind of nice. You know, it was a rough evening. It was pretty hot out. Sweating pretty bad. It was pretty warm out. I ended up lifting the back of my tarp up a little bit to get some breeze going through. I had kind of a patio style, and then I raised it up. It was more or less just a flat tarp across me at the end. But you know, after I got up the next morning and I got myself some coffee and a steak, and I just started enjoying myself out here, and I was looking around at how beautiful it was. And not that I don't like camping with you, Terry, or anybody else, but you know, solo camping is kind of nice. You get out here, you clear your head. You can just sit back and enjoy stuff. You know, it's beautiful out here. So my thoughts on that is, you know, make sure you're well prepared. Make sure you go visit the place beforehand if you can, or research it as much as possible. Ask questions if you can from someone. Know what you're getting into, especially if you're new at this, or a little out of shape, or old, or all of the above. But one of my other thoughts was on water. You got to make sure you have a water source, a way to get water, a way to purify water, or, you know, carry it in, which I carried water in along with my heavy pack. Wasn't a bright idea. It's pretty heavy. It was nice to have when I got here, because I had water. Of course, when I got here, there's no water here. But I remembered when I walked in seeing a sign that said, you know, it had like a cup, you know, water sign, I guess you'd call it. But I walked back the next morning to the sign. It was a good distance back, probably a half-hour walk or so. And I carried some bottles and filled them up, because I drank quite a bit of the water after that walk up here yesterday, and it was pretty warm, like I said, last night, so I drank quite a bit of water. I was feeling dehydrated, sweated quite a bit. So I carried the water back up here, and it was nice to have. I was going to do some water purification, and I realized that I'm not as close to the lake water source as I thought I would be. It would be going through some pretty rough terrain for quite a distance to get some water, and you'd probably sweat out more water than you would be able to get and carry back, so it just wouldn't be worth it, and also returning. So my thoughts on that is, really think out your water source. Plan that ahead, and if there's no water in that area, realize you're humping it in there. And back to that, if you're carrying stuff in, you know, realize you're carrying it back out. You know, you don't want to leave anything in that you brought. If you brought it in, you want to take it back out. That's just kind of my thoughts on a few things that I was thinking about. Some things that I forgot. I wanted to bring a couple books that I was going to read today. I plan on being out here longer, but like I said, a storm's coming in. Right, I don't know if I mentioned that or not. So I think I'm going to head on home. But I was going to bring a book on bug out bags. I can't remember the name of it right now. If I showed it to you, you guys would all say, "Oh yeah, I have that book," or "know of that book," or read it. But anyway, and I got another book called The American Morning by David Robertson. Good book. That tells quite a bit about what's going on in the politics today, and you know, it kind of touches on the prepping side too, and being prepared for some of the things that are coming politically and economically. And of course, I was going to bring the good book, if you know what I mean. Won't go into that too much, but need to read a little bit of it. But anyway, some of the other things I forgot, which made itself really plain, is I had forgotten toilet paper. Boy, I was sure happy when I seen some mullein growing along the way. There was some of it that was dead, and I said, well, if there's dead mullein, there's got to be some live mullein. Well, I ran across one plant, and it was a small little plant, new plant. But hey, there was mullein. I was glad to see it. I was even more glad when I went through my pack and I saw that the wife put some towelette, you know, cleaning towelettes or whatever you want to call them, in my pack that I didn't know about. Thank you, dear. That was nice to see. Some of the other things that when I talk about forgot, because you know I did carry quite a bit. I want to say that I forgot that not so much an item, but kind of touching on what I was talking about before. If this is something that's new to you, or it's been a while since you've done something like this, it's a little bit tougher than you think. Make sure you're in shape. Make sure you're prepared for the walk. Make sure you're prepared for the struggle. There was a couple times I looked that hill and I had to remember back when I was I went into the Marine Corps when I was 17. I had to remember back to my Marine Corps days and to look at that hill and go, yeah, I got a drill instructor on my tail. I just got to keep going. So I just kind of kept pushing myself up the hill and got up the hill and stopped, caught my breath a little bit, and then went down and was ready for the next hill. But I had some other things I was going to talk about, but they've kind of slipped my mind. But anyway, that's kind of my thoughts and a few forgots that I had on solo camping. I guess my main thing I want to say is be prepared, plan for it, go do it. It's great. Oh, one more thing I wanted to add before I left. Right there. That's what it's about. Beautiful. So that's what it's all about. Get out and enjoy it. Thanks for watching.